Okay, y'all. So I'm going to post the link for the employees hired by AI companies. Companies that are pushing AI. They are involved with this whole um, trying to force the normalization of assaulting babies and children and pushing them into adult situations, if you know what I'm saying. They're trying to normalize it. Look at the Epstein situation. Okay. Not only was this egregious behavior done to children, but rich, powerful people are pushing, forcing that narrative. And not only that, but they're pushing and forcing that narrative with AI as well. And that will be described you'll see the documentary. I'll put the link to the documentary in the description. And so these companies, rich, powerful companies, are pushing AI really hard because it's guaranteed to make them a lot of money. It does not matter who it hurts. It doesn't matter if you bottom out psychologically. It doesn't matter if this permanently damages you. As long as they make a dollar, it doesn't really matter. So they hire these foreigners because they're living below, uh, excuse me, living below the poverty line, and so they are desperate for a dollar. Well, these soulless and demonic companies are hiring them to teach AI what it needs to know. Okay, so there'll be all these different scenarios on the computer, and they have to show the scenario on the computer and explain to AI what it is and explain what the words are, to describe what's on the computer. And there's several projects, and they start off relatively innocent, and then they start to go more and more sinister and diabolical. And then you can't skip projects because you feel too uncomfortable with it because it involves adult things pertaining to children and babies. So when you have a conscience and you're not a psychopath, you don't want to be a part of that. So, but you don't, the way the program is set up, you cannot skip that project to go to one that's more appropriate. It's designed that you have to do the inappropriate, dirty stuff in order to get past, to the next project. So I will show you that link, put the link in the description. The world, we can't afford to not pay attention to that. We can't afford to close our eyes to it. We cannot afford to just say, well, bad people do bad things, and then you turn your back on it. You know why? Because the majority of you have children, and they could be pushed into this world, this dark and dirty world. Children go missing all the time. Children get drugged and taken. And trafficking with women and children it's a multi-billion-dollar industry. I wonder if this always happened our entire lives. But the only reason we know about it now is because of social media. Honestly, I'm pretty sure this happened to some degree, but to what degree? Because there was no one to, you know, spill the beans or, rat anyone out. There wasn't anybody to leak information. It is absolutely. When you have children, you have to know what's going on. It's your job to educate yourself and know about the dirty, grimy things that happen and the dirty, grimy fascination, the disgusting fascination that adults have with touching children, violating babies and children. It's good for you to know these things because it's imperative that you know these things when you have children because you don't want to be a naive parent. You want to be as sharp as a tack, and you want to be very careful about who you allow around your children. It is your responsibility. Duh. You already know this. It's your responsibility to protect them from harm. Um, this world is just baffling to me. It it blows my mind how arrogant people are with their evil. I mean, they can't wait to go to hell. They can't freaking wait. They think it's going to be the biggest rave party they've ever been to. And if they were smart, which they're not, but if they were smart, they would watch survivor stories where people died and they were brought back. They call them NDEs. They're not NDEs. There's no such thing as near death. You either died or you didn't. These are people who actually died. So NDE is not the proper term, but for some reason that's what they're called. I don't call them that because it's bullshit. Um, but when the person died and was brought back, some of them went to heaven and some of them went straight to hell. They went to hell. And they share their story. And they have no problem telling you, I knew I was in hell. A couple people said the same thing. It stunk real bad down there. It stunk real bad. It was dark. It There was endless screaming of, voices in complete torment. If you read the book of I'm not a Bible beater, but the book of Revelations will smack you into some reality that will make the your scariest uh horror movie look like a walk in the park. Okay? It'll make the scariest movie you ever saw look like a walk in the park. And the fact that people don't give a shit and they don't care what evil they do, they can't wait to go to hell. So, in the documentary, you will see where they tracked down the reporters that are, talking to them, tracked one of the big guys from the company. And they said, "What about this inappropriate material? Oh, you need to talk to so and so about that." So he basically shooed them off like a mosquito, shooed them off to somebody else. You got to talk to so and so. And that person, of course, dodged them. Because what can a person say when they do something that horrible? These people that are, we're going to go twisted for extra twisted. These people that are getting off on children and babies are parents. They have children. So then you wonder, did you do that to your kids too? Or you just do that to other people's kids? I just don't. understand. There's a certain person, we're not going to go into names, but y'all who are smart know who I'm talking about. There's a certain person who was actually, uh, what am I trying to say? He used to be the so called president, okay? He was the previous administration. And I don't care what anybody says. When you look at how horrible his behavior was in office and how demonic he was, and he was sniffing children's hair and trying to get babies to warm up to him, and the babies were crying. You know why? Because the babies know that this son of a bitch is a bad person. Even a baby knows that. But you got stupid ass adults that follow his every word, and everything he does is so good, and they overlook everything. They overlook everything. And those people have the luxury of doing that because your child was not trafficked at the border. Your child wasn't in cahoots with the cartel with the child trafficking. Mm, mm. Right. These are things the media is not going to tell you, but I will. The trafficking of children, the trafficking of babies, the trafficking of women, the trafficking within the cartel that was smack dab in the middle of it, the fentanyl, not fentanyl, the fentanyl that was coming across. Hey, that all happened under that son of a bitch. And I remember looking at him. It was what there's multiple times that I've seen his ugly ass. And I thought, if you ever wanted to know what a demon looks like, there you go. And the fact that people swing from his nuts and think that he is amazing, I'm like, are you, were you born that stupid or blind, deaf and dumb? What, what, what is wrong with you? Do you not remember that you were struggling to find food to feed yourself and your families? Did you forget that part? Did you forget that the prices were really, really super high? Did you forget the part where we were almost sold to another place? Y'all know. Okay. 5-letter word. Starts with a C. We were almost given to them by that son of a bitch. That son of a bitch that people think the world of was also taking showers with his daughter. We're not even going to continue the rest of the shit that he did to destroy this country. He's a son of a bitch and a fucking demon. And people think he's amazing, which means you need your goddamn head examined. You need to go to therapy fast and in a hurry. You are following a demon. You are worshiping a fucking demon. And you act like no matter what evil he does, it's okay because he's a great guy. Jesus, you cannot be more blind if you tried. That son of a bitch that you think the world of was also taking showers with his teenage daughter. But everybody covers their nana nana boo boo. I don't hear you. Put their fingers in their ears and close their eyes and shake their head. No, you can shake your motherfucking head until it falls plumb off. But I'm here to tell you, you're seeing what you want to see. You see what the freaking hell you want to see. You can't look at somebody and tell that they're a fucking demon. Look at their facial features. Look at the shit that they've done to destroy. He took showers with his teenage daughter. And I remember thinking, where the hell was his wife when that shit was going down? Anyway, let me calm down. This world can't wait to go to hell. You better be real careful who you follow. You better be real careful who you think the world of. You could pretend to be blind, deaf, and dumb, but that does not erase the evil that was done. You can be blind, deaf, and dumb. You could put a sack over your head. You could put, you know, you could put your fingers in your ears. You could do whatever the hell you want to do, but the evil happened right in your face. You just don't want to see it. And from what I understand, because these same dudes that are swinging from Demon Boy's nuts, this is also, they are trying to throw Donald under the bus too. Oh, well, he was friends with him. He was friend. Okay, let me stop you right there. Let's break the lies up right now. When Donald found out, he used to be cool with him. When he found out what he was into, he booted him out of Mar-a-Lago. I guess that's how you say it, Mar-a-Lago. He booted him out of there and didn't want to be bothered with him no more. So just because you see somebody associating with someone who's awful, Epstein, that does not mean that he was also touching kids. Okay? But in order to continue to worship the previous demon, they have to throw the current individual under the bus and lie their ass off and say, oh, well, there was a balloon that was floating in the air when Donald was in last time. No, the fuck there wasn't, you lying son of a bitch. No, there fucking wasn't. My God, you could not be a worse liar. That ain't never happened in the history of the United States. I don't know what the hell planet you're living on. I don't know why you're delusional, but you need therapy and medication. Lying like that. Okay? Be careful who the hell you worship. Be careful who you idolize. Those same people want to sniff your child's hair. I've seen that ugly bastard, that demon, do that, and it creeped me the hell out. And I've also seen where he was trying to tickle a baby's tummy or whatever, and the baby started crying. The baby's smarter than adults, because adults think that cocksucker, excuse my French, they think that he's the best thing since Mother Teresa. And he did all evil all up in your goddamn face. He We got raped financially, on medication, food. There was a deliberate shortage of food while that son of a bitch was in office, and people still think the world of him. What the freaking hell is wrong with you? You like not being able to find food? Going on off of a little tangent. You like that? That was fun, right? Paying all that money when you go to the gas pump, that was fun too. Let's see what else was fun. Getting spied on by another place for a whole week before they got busted. You like that too. Deception turns you on, don't it? The fact that that was treason, and in smart countries, not the United States, but in smart countries, that's punishable by death. Ask, well, you can't, Shahogi or whatever his name was. He's from Saudi Arabia. They brutalized him, tortured the absolute hell out of that man because he went against his own country. That's punishable by death. Not in America. Because if you've got power and you commit treason, well, it's okay. It's no big deal. If you cut the throats of your own people in your own country, that's not a big deal. Anyway, didn't mean to go there, but I did. I can't stand demonic people, and I just am completely blown away by the abuse that we went through. We're still not out of the woods yet. We're still getting bent over at the gas company, at the gas pump. Okay? We're still getting bent over when we buy food and everything else that we buy. We're still getting bent over. Prices are quick to go up. They're not quick to go down. And people just worship the shit out of the person who's done that evil. They worship him. They're blind, deaf, and dumb. Anyway, the world has just gotten back to my original topic. the world. Oh, Balenciaga. Did I tell? Okay, hold on. All right, let me go to Balenciaga, and I'm gonna get my ass in bed because I'm not gonna go to sleep because I gotta get up way too early to get administer this medication to my friend. But, anyways, Lord help me. Balenciaga is a big. I guess they're a retail company. I guess they faced a lot of backlash because they had advertisements of children holding teddy bears, and the teddy bears were wearing BDSM gear, um, which is obviously 1000% inappropriate. BDSM. Okay. Another advertisement that they had was advertising a purse. The purse was laying on a legal document, what appeared to be a legal document that was talking about child pornography. Y'all can read in between the lines. Y'all are smart. Some of y'all are smart. If you're worshiping a demon, you're not. Your judgment of people is very skewed. Anyway, if you're moving right along. So Balenciaga was pushing that too. Also, when the previous bastard was in office, he was also pushing, if you remember, against parents' will, because the parents didn't know anything about it. They were secretly taking children, making arrangements to send children to parties where there were people that were dressed up that wasn't their gender, if you know what I mean. And they did that behind the parents' back. And schools were infiltrated by certain people so that they can push your child into being confused about who they were born as. Teachers were pushing that shit because the government told them to do that. Oh shit, we're going there. And then they infiltrated the medical community and persuaded them, pushed them into doing surgeries on children that are minors. And the parents who aren't very smart, you better educate yourself and stop acting stupid. You have kids, your whole world is different. You're responsible for them. Don't you dare look at my face through the damn screen. Don't you dare accept your child wanting to change their gender because the government said for them to do that. Because if you remember, we're keeping it raw today. If you remember, dude from Kenya that used to be in office that had no business legally being a president because his black ass wasn't born here. The same one who's married to a man and has persuaded you all to think that that's a woman, and verbally was making a speech and was referring to the spouse and slipped and called him Michael. You know why? Because that's his real name. You show me one man. Show me, please, show me one man who talked about his wife and accidentally called her a man's name. You ain't never seen that a day in your life, and you will never see that because a man knows he's married to a woman. He will call her Elizabeth every day of the week, or Susie, or whatever the hell her name is. He's not going to accidentally call her Sam, as in a man's name. So don't sit here and tell me that I'm just talking out the left side of my neck. It came out of his own mouth. Oh, Michelle. How many men are going to confuse their wife for a man and accidentally call them a man's name? Give me a break. Y'all better stop being stupid. Stop being so naive and stop thinking that everything you were told is true and everything that you see is fluffy and warm and filled with goodness. Come on. Biggest lie ever told, that Gay Bird is married to a man, and his brother had made a comment and said, "Oh, he's always been gay." Right. But everybody's convinced that that thing he's married to is. And when Joan Rivers talked about it publicly, like a week or two later, she was dead. We gotta wake up. She had a minor cosmetic procedure. She made the comment first. And then a week or two later, she had a minor cosmetic procedure, and she was dead. And and Kenya Boy, my friend talked to a guy who is a historian, and he found out that Kenya Boy, Barry, his dad's a hitman. Can do it anywhere in the world that you want it done. You got the money, he'll get it done for you. We can pretend all day, we can worship demons if that's what we want to do. And we can pretend that they're really nice people, regardless of the fact that they have bent us over on everything we could think of that hurts our wallet. There are some states that are trying to remove the driving rights of senior citizens. You heard me. And don't be stupid. Don't be brainless and say and fall for what the government told you when they said, well, it's for safety. No, the fuck it's not. No, it's not. Most accidents are not committed by senior citizens. Look at any car accident. You're not going to see elderly people that were speeding down Rodeo Drive in California and caused a fatal collision. Give me a fucking break. They drive so slow and so careful that even a damn sloth will go, damn, I thought I was slow. It ain't for safety. Stop looking at what you were freaking told and look at what is actually happening. Our rights are being taken away. Is it Virginia? I forget the other state. They're taking your driver's license away when you reach a certain age for your safety. And if they approve your driver's license, they are approving it only for a short period of time because they don't want your ass on the road because they're taking our rights every time you turn around. The world is dark, dark, dark. And if you don't pray or you never prayed before, you better start now because my God, if there was ever a time that we needed God to come down and do a severe smackdown, baby, this is it. This is it. You have to wake up. You got to stop doing the ostrich thing and sticking your head in the sand. It ain't going to make it disappear. And like I told a friend tonight, I said, he's got a friend that worships the ex-demon who was in office. She still thinks that he poops 24 karat gold eggs out of his fucking ass. And you know what I said? She's got kids. I said, you know what? I promise you that if one of her children died because of the fentanyl that was coming across here and ignored, and her child died as a result of it, and she found out, she was finally awakened, she was knocked out of her slumber and realized that he was connected to that and that he knew that the cartel was involved with all that and didn't give a flying shit, and her kid died because of it, maybe that would shake her tree. But I doubt it, because when people are indoctrinated, you can't undoctrinate them. You can, but it's very, very hard. People are too damn easy to brainwash. Way too easy to brainwash. Somebody of so-called authority tells them something and they're like, "Oh, okay, I understand. That's true." You so stupid. And then every time you pull money out of your wallet because we're getting financially yanked yet again because of this son of a bitch who was in before and the shit still continues. You see that with your own eyes and you still pretend you don't see it? Maybe a psych ward and some very powerful medications and a, what is it called? Deprogramming camp would work for you. There are such things where people join this. It's designed to take you out of the unreality that your brain is stuck in. It's like a deprogramming. And a lot of people need that. Will they ever, a lot of people want that? No, because they worship demons and they're okay with that. You know what's the weird thing about worshiping demons? When they turn around and bite you on the ass because they're evil anyway, maybe you get a clue then. Or are you too far gone to get a clue? For those of you who are smart, I love you. For those of you who are not smart, do some research. And you'll even see pictures of so-called quotation marks, Michelle. You will see when he actually looked like a guy. You will see old pictures on the internet of when he looked like a guy. Because he is a guy. Y'all got to wake up. You worship the wrong people. And those people will cut your throat and not even blink. You got American people. I wasn't even going to go on this road. You got American people that are giving the shaft, the middle finger everywhere you turn. And then somebody who hasn't paid a motherfucking dime, not one dime, nickel, quarter, penny in taxes. And they've been getting their asses kissed. And like I said before, with all those people that came over here and were welcomed over here, no other country does that, by the way. No other country does that stupid shit. Come on in here and get a bunch of free stuff. Come here, come here. We love you right away. Come here. Free hotels, free cell phones, free food, free clothes. Ain't nobody doing that for you. The closest neighbor we have is Canada. You go to Canada without your papers and let me know how that works for you. Shit. We gotta wake up. Like I said before, if you don't pray or you never prayed before, you're gonna need to start because we have to. The world is so demonic, so dirty, so dark, so demonic. And people will see something right in front of their face and they will convince themselves that that's not true. And your eyes don't lie. People lie, your eyes don't. Think about that. Love you guys. Take care.